If you haven't heard of her yet, she's definitely one of those authors you will soon be keeping in your book collection. Her self-published book, Soul Touching, is a collection of poems through love, sex, and cosmic connections. Today on The XO Effect, I finally get a chance to meet the face behind the cover, Miss Seshata Rose. She takes us through her journey of the trials and tribulations of self-publishing her book, her definition of feminism, and actually creating her body of work through heartbreak. So in this week's episode of The XO Effect, we have an amazing author, writer, spoken word artist, all the above. She's one of my favorite muses. I've known her basically all of my life. So we have a lot to kind of get into. But without further ado, I would like for you all to welcome Miss Seshata Rose.
Yeah,
Like
thank
I
you
said
for
that
having
wrong.
me. Seshata.
Seshata.
It's okay.
It's the
It's a two S's.
Gotcha.
It messes
Yeah,
people up. It's
okay.
okay. Think of it like a shada, like
Gotcha.
a shada Shakur, but Seshata. I know.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thanks
Yeah,
for
so
coming
excited.
by.
Of course.
Woo! So this has been a crazy, well, not year yet, we're still 2018. 2017 was the year that you released your first book, Soul Touching, which I absolutely love. If you haven't picked it up yet, you should definitely do that. It's a book of collective poems about love, sex, and cosmic connections. So kind of like, you know, how did you kind of get into that? What made you, I'm really curious to see how you broke it down the way that you did.
Initially I just started writing. So before I thought about chapters, I just wanted to free write, because sometimes when I like title things, it kind of stifles my writing. It makes me feel constricted in a way. So I just would write, like every day I would just write whatever came to me. And then when I had enough material and I was looking back like, I have enough shit to put a book together, I went back and started grouping the writings based on like themes and like concepts of what they were talking about. And then I broke it into the 3 chapters based on those themes. So I came up with love, sex, and cosmic connections. And I kind of think of the 3 chapters as like past, present, future for me. So love would be like my past. So I reflect a lot on like the love I had for other people, previous partners and relationships that I had. Sex is where I was at that time. I still think I'm in the sex chapter of my life right now. That was just me like growing to be comfortable with my body, becoming sensually liberated. And then cosmic connection is just about being connected to someone more than just the surface level.
Gotcha. So I guess outside of love and sex, which makes sense how you did the past, present, and the future.
That's where I aspire to be.
Okay, gotcha. I like that. I think for me the intriguing part was the cosmic connections, because I think like when you hear the word, people will kind of automatically assume it's like, oh, when the stars came and then Mars touched Venus, and it's like it's not. It doesn't have to be all that. It can be really sensual and sexual, just using your body beyond the stars, so to speak.
That's actually my favorite chapter. Because I feel like most people, I don't know what my readers do if they read it start to finish or look at the chapter like, I'm going to the sex chapter first, but that is my favorite part. It was just my way to wrap everything up and encompass a little bit of everything.
Well, I think you did a very good job in doing that. And on top of that, she definitely has bomb ass pictures in there.
I just have to expose myself.
Her body just lit, you know. I wasn't gonna say it, but it's definitely, those pictures are bomb AF.
Yes.
I love everything about those pictures. They weren't too like raunchy. They were very clean and like, I just loved them. So shout out to Expressions Untold.
Yeah, shout out to Expressions Untold.
What was that like? Because I know previously, like just by me talking to you, you know, you talk a lot about being body conscious, and like as much as I love taking pictures, being naked, I can't do that yet. So just how were you able to get out of your comfort zone and be in that moment?
I would say that he's a really dope photographer, and he's really dope at making sure you're comfortable. Because one of my biggest fears was like, I think being a photographer is the new I'm a rapper. So boys just pick up a camera and now they're photographers. And there's a lot of fuckboy photographers out there. So that was like something I was really scared about. But me and him are really good friends. So I trust him like creatively, like just sharing thought. He's a great thought partner. And it was just something I wanted to do for myself, because I have my own, like, just like any other woman, body insecurities. And it was just something I wanted to face. And I 100% just put myself out there. But it was really, really dope. It didn't take too long, because that's the other thing, like I have to be naked for 5 hours. But it wasn't bad. He was really efficient. He asked me like what vision I wanted. He actually read my manuscript prior, so he knew like the vibe. I wanted everything to connect. I didn't want the pictures like, you know, the videos you see when the shit going on in the video don't got shit to do with the lyrics.
Right.
And I didn't want that. I wanted the words and the photos to connect. So he did a good job at
definitely capturing that.
Yeah, capturing that for me.
Everyone.
Yeah, so shout out to
Was
that.
it liberating for you to do that? Was it one of those like shedding? I like to call like the transitions of life like shedding layers of just either yourself or just things around you. So was it one of those like shedding, liberating moments for you?
It really was. It was just one of those things where it's like, this is me, and you just have to take that.
Get this work.
You gonna get this. You gonna get this work however I want to give it to you. It was just cool to be creatively free and not feeling like I had to hinder myself or worrying about being judged. It's just a lot that comes with that. Like, even though I write, it's just like I'm about to put my naked ass in this book and just think about what are people gonna think. So it was just like, well, fuck people. You know, this is just my craft and this is what I wanted to do. So I just went with that.
Yeah, and I've been knowing you for like all my
1,000 years.
All my life, I like to say. So, but I know your writing style, so to see this come into form was absolutely beautiful for me. But your mom, how did she take the book?
She was the only person's opinion that mattered to me. Like, she's the only person, like, if she didn't like it, that I would have felt a way about. I actually gave her the book before I released it live. I gave it to her for Mother's Day. Ooh. So I was just like, oh boy.
Hey Mom, happy Mother's Day. You're welcome. My naked ass.
You're welcome. She had no idea. I just was like, Mom, I sent you something. Look out for it. She got it. She was like, oh, you wrote a book. So she knew I was writing.
Right.
She just had no idea what the book was about. She's actually in my dedications. I dedicate the book to her and my grandmother. Just because they're just really supportive of shit I want to do. And I was like, don't let this be the one thing you don't support me on. But she was actually really receptive, really supportive. She actually tried to read the book at work and she was like, oh shit, you ain't telling me I can't read this shit at work. Yeah, so she was like, she's really supportive. So that was really dope and free for me. Like, that's the one person who I worried about and I don't even have to worry about it. So everybody else is like, this
whatever.
is it. Yeah, it's whatever at this point.
Well, that's good. So being that you've been writing for a very long time, how much have you seen your writing grow? Because I think it's, you know, it's pretty, being that this is your first published book, I know I've read a lot of your work just over the years, and I can tell you a lot of the different writing styles that I've seen you grow into, but how do you personally think that you have been able to grow just as a writer and taking bits from other people but still remaining true to who you are?
I would say my first inspiration for writing would just be reading. Like, I'm a reader, I'm a bookworm at heart. So just learning just how words should be presented, but also having the freedom to do it the way that I want to.
Gotcha.
So I have read old work from myself, like from middle school, from high school.
Is that like...
It makes me cringe sometimes, and I can see like my transition. Like, when I was younger, I focused so much on rhyming that sometimes just to find a word to rhyme, I would sacrifice my message to make that happen. Now I write what the fuck comes to me. If it rhymes, it do. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it's just freeing to see that my message is more important to me than fitting like a particular like stanza or style. And I still like to challenge myself and write in certain stanzas just to challenge, but it's just cool to see that growth. And it's cool to see old shit and be like, bitch, you was on to something. Like, you were on to something. You were working with a little something. So that's always cool too, to see like, no, I still had it back then. It just took some more growing to do, and I still feel like I have more growing to do as a writer.
So just a small side note, so she used to write these stories, right? And she would write these books, and she stayed like back in the day when you ain't drive, like everything was fire shit. So whenever she would come over, like after 6 months, every 6 months we would like meet up with each other. And she would bring these stories, and I swear to you, I would finish them in like a week. And I'm like, so when you gonna get with this other story? Because I need to know. So with that, do you see yourself publishing more of a novel or like something with a storyline?
Right now, storylines are a little harder for me to do. Yeah, just because I'm all over the place. Like, when I write, I don't limit myself, so I just write freely.
Gotcha.
What I do want to do, some of my older work, some of the older works you've written, I do want to convert them to screenplays.
Gotcha.
So in the future,
that'd be cool.
like work with a director and start putting visuals to those things. I had a really good plot, so even the writing wasn't there at that time. I had a lot of good plots and stuff like that, so I want to bring that to light in that way.
That would be dope. Yeah, I'm ready. That would be dope. So I know you're from New York.
Yes.
You're from New York. You grew up there, born and raised. Well, raised slightly.
Yes.
You came here. So tell me just how has New York influenced you in your writing, and then just you as a person? Because I think you know, wherever you're from, even if you didn't stay there long, there's still little bits and pieces that you still take with you wherever you go. So how did that influence you as a person? Because you've been here like forever.
Yeah, I consider myself a hybrid. I consider myself an apple peach.
Yeah.
Because I've, like, at this point, have spent half my life there, half my life here. What's really cool, I think, being in New York, I lived a very sheltered life. Like, my parents are from Haiti, so they got that hard-ass Caribbean shit going on. So I didn't really get to go anywhere other than school, church, home, family. That was pretty much my life. So writing was a way that I traveled. Writing was how I freed myself. So a lot of time when I read my older work, I can see how vivid my imagination was because I didn't experience a lot of things. So these were just me like concocting shit that I wanted to do. So that's cool. And having come here, I would say that the arts community is pretty live in Atlanta. Yeah, so it's really cool. I feel like artists can thrive here, and there's just is a community that's really welcoming to accept you in whatever your craft is. So that's been really cool. So I have a little bit of both of that, like the parts of me that didn't know shit about the world, trying to figure it out, just expressing myself, and me having more experiences, and I can share that too.
That's really dope. I like that a lot. Do you ever find yourself wanting to go back to New York? Would you?
I would. The only thing that keeps me from going back is that it's cold as fuck. I'm not about those winters
well, it's what, 32, 37 degrees outside now?
I'm not about those winters anymore. But I've thought about it only because, like I said, I lived a very sheltered upbringing. I never, even though I lived in New York all those years, I never had the chance to really explore that city. Right. So parts of me wants to go back just to explore that city so I could be like, okay, I've done these things and I really can say, okay, I no longer want to be here.
Past, present, and future. Do you have anything in your past that you necessarily regret? Just like with yourself or like with relationships or anything?
I don't believe people should regret anything. Like, I believe things happen in the time that they're supposed to, and if it doesn't happen, then that shit wasn't supposed to happen. The only thing I would say is just not sharing my writing or not sharing my craft sooner with people, because it's healing to me to write, and it helps other people heal too. And I guess I was just scared about whether people would connect with my work, and I just wish I took that leap of faith just a little bit sooner. I could have gone ahead and done that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I feel like it, for me, like just reading it, I feel like you have a lot of shitty parts in there. Like the past was like pretty shitty, and then you kind of came, like for me, like the Cosmic Connections is really like eye-opening. Like, you know, these two parts don't have to be so surface level and so like with constraint. Like you can be free and still love, and it can be beautiful outside of the shitty things that happen to you. Like I feel like for me it was like, I feel like everything happened like perfectly. Just even the way everything flows, I like really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think Cosmic Connection comes back like full circle for me. I wanted to relay, or at least I hope so. I hope I relay what unconditional love means to me. Yeah. And
what does that mean to you?
Well, I'll say this really quick. I say we say things like you love someone unconditionally, but to love someone unconditionally would be to love them with no conditions. And one thing we don't realize is that we have conditions. Like, I feel like you should be able to love someone and accept them as they are, exactly where they are. Like, if they were to change nothing about themselves right now, do you accept them right now? And if the answer is no, then you don't love them unconditionally. That doesn't mean that you don't love that person. It's just not unconditional. So I just was striving to relay, I want to be in a space with my future partner where it's unconditional. Like, we accept each other where we are, exactly as we are. And that doesn't mean that I'm saying like you shouldn't want your partner to progress and stuff like that, but I'm just saying if they change nothing, would you be content with right now today? Like, would you be? And that's the space I want to get to, where I accept you exactly where you are.
It's a difficult space to be.
Oh, indeed.
It's difficult. It's difficult. Sorry, there's been like something floating in my eye. It's a space. I guess for me, it's a space that it's easy to fall into and very hard to get out of because you love them without conditions. It's like,
I gotta accept this shit too.
Yeah, it's like, damn, it's like, I love you this much. How can you not? And it's like, it's not, you can't rush them, and it's not that you're trying to rush them. You try to give them all the tools to do better. And if, you know, sometimes you can still love somebody unconditionally from afar, and that's just how that ends up happening. So, yeah, that's a tough one. That shit is, that's some real life shit.
Indeed.
Yep. So you were also about that vegan life.
Yes. Oh, okay, so I have to be 1,000% transparent.
Okay.
I'm like 95% vegan, 5% cheese. Cheese owns my soul.
Yes.
And I feel comfortable being that person that like, okay, I have to eat pizza. I don't know if that's that Brooklyn shit. I gotta have pizza once a month. And that's how I keep myself in order. But
that's
I meal prep.
You know, I'm a pizza connoisseur.
Yes.
So anytime somebody's like she's like, yo,
pizza,
I'm like, yeah, when we going, I'm down. I got $5. Got $5 for the slice. How has that been from eating meat forever and then transitioning? Like, what was that like?
I slowly transitioned. So I went from eating meat to occasionally being a vegetarian. Like I would fast and not eat meat and fast from meat. And then I was a pescatarian, so I would eat seafood. So I did that between pescatarian and vegetarian, like on and off for 3 whole years. Yeah. And then I finally was like, let's just cut all this shit out. Yeah, let's just cut all this shit out. So I cut off all animal byproducts except for cheese. I still got fuck with that. And I feel like I saw the difference in my body. Like there was a point where I was putting on a lot of weight. You know, women were real insecure about our bodies and our weight, and I just wasn't happy with that. And I just wanted to be in a healthier space. So I talked about, like, I think about being holistic. So I want to be healthy mentally, spiritually, and physically is one of those things too. And once I did that, like my body responded really well, like giving me more energy. I dropped a lot of weight, like bad weight. So I just appreciated that. So I've just been, it's a commitment, but I've been sticking to it, and it's been working pretty well.
Yeah, because according to your IG and your meal preps, this girl meal prep game is strong. Okay, like she's strong as fuck. Like every Sunday, I'm like, so what's she cooking this week? Because every Sunday you meal prep and you're dedicated to it. Have you seen a change with that being said? Have you seen a change? I know you've seen a change in your body, but when you decide to share your body with other people, do you see that change as well, or that exchange of energy as well?
I feel like just on some basic science shit, like what you put in, you expel outward as well. So I feel like, not to just be cliche, but like if you eat healthy, you taste healthier. So I do appreciate sharing that with my partner, although I don't force my partners to be vegan with me as well. So I will expose them to some vegan shit.
Put them on a little game.
Put them on. But I don't want anyone to feel like, to date me, you have to be like, oh, me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to do that. To the point where I want to write a short. I'm going to write a short about my prep life, because a lot of people ask me about it, because I do my meal preps every Sunday, and I post it, people ask about it. I'm definitely going to put something together to try to help people who want to transition to a healthier lifestyle. And again, it's not like you have to be vegan to make it.
Because it's a struggle. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, meal, just the thought of it, it's like, this means, it's not only like, do I have to cook all this shit, I have to eat it for the rest of the week. And I'm just like, oh man.
And there's ways around that. I'll include something for people who don't get bored eating the same shit every day. I'm that person, like, I'll eat the same shit for the week and it doesn't bother me. But people who need that change, I'll definitely discuss.
I need to change like every 2 days.
And you can prep that way. Yeah, you can prep that way so that you can prep multiple sides. You can switch shit up. Like, so it could be different. So I got you. I got you. I got you, fam.
Good. Because I'd be struggling. Like, even like I did pretty good. Like I did like my smoothies. I did like probably like 3 weeks. I was doing like smoothies in the morning, and then I had like a little snack for lunch, and then I would eat lunch, and then dinner. By then I wasn't really hungry, so I would just eat like something like a sandwich or something not too crazy.
And you'll see, like, the more you do it, the harder it'll be for you to binge on things.
Gotcha.
Because there's things I used to eat, I could be like, I could eat this whole plate of nachos, and I'll go to do it, and I'm like a few bites in and I'm full, because my body is not used to intaking like so many calories at one time. But it's a process. But once you do it, I say invest the time up front. But once I do it, I don't worry about that shit for the rest of the week. Like, I am good for the rest of the week. So it takes that pressure off of me, because I do so much. Like with work, with grad school, like I'm all over the place. So it's good to already have, like, I don't gotta worry about what the fuck I gotta eat.
That's because that is a big deal. Like, when I come home, I don't want to worry about
do anything.
What
I'm not cooking.
I'm trying to eat. And that's why I end up going out. I end up going out because I don't
want to cook.
Yeah. So being in grad school, How's
Yes.
that? What's that like?
So I took a 2-year break between undergrad and grad. So I definitely had that fear of like, can I still do this shit?
Speaking of which, what did you get your degree in?
Oh, I have my BS in biology. So I'm a science nerd at heart.
Shout out to you though.
Yes. Brains and books.
Brains
and books.
and booty.
Books and booty and all the B's. Big B's up.
Big B's.
Big B's up. Yeah. So I was definitely nervous about like being in school, going from writing creatively where I have all the freedom to writing to be critiqued.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a shift for me. But once I made through this first semester, I'm like, oh, I'm about this shit. Like, yeah.
Has that helped your writing?
In some regard, yeah. Just being more critical about what I'm doing because I want to get into editing, like editing other people's manuscripts. Because I have a lot of people reach out to me about publishing independently, and I want to help other people. If I can help them not have to deal with some of the struggles I dealt with publishing for the first time, so editing is something I want to do. So it helps me to be like that critical about my writing and intentional about my writing. Yeah.
What was it like? I could imagine it's stressful as shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how you did it. Because you had a lot of work to go through and sift through, and then like I think just with anything, when you really want to do something, you look up every aspect of it and you research it. But what was that process like of trying to even, I mean, down to like the covers and picking the pictures, like what was that whole process like?
In general, I'm the kind of person where if I can do it myself, I want to do it myself.
Right.
I don't want a lot of people's hands on my shit just because I don't know if you don't know my vision. Right. So it might take me some time to put it together, but I want to have the autonomy to do that shit myself. So that was a part of it. Like, what things can I do myself and what things do I need to reach out to? One thing I will say is I didn't have to figure everything out by myself. I had people that I could reach out to who've published, who've been writing for a while that I seek advice from. Shout out to the author LT. She's a really good like writing mentor for me. So anytime I had questions, I can run to her and ask her some questions and get some feedback. So I had some guidance on as far as that was concerned. The only thing I would have done differently, I didn't pay an editor for my first book.
Gotcha.
I want to do everything myself, and sometimes like when you see your own work, you need some things you need another set of eyes on. You kind of missed out. Yeah, you need another set of eye on things. So that's something I would do. I would have the people who I trust at least to put some eyes on it for me. The book cover I designed myself because I'm like you said, there's nude art in the book. Right. I didn't want someone to design the cover for me, put my ass on the cover. It's just like it just wasn't needed for me. Like I'm really simplistic, and I wanted my words to speak for itself. I wanted to be this little black book that you just pick it up and you just have to see what's inside to enjoy that. So I'm still learning. There's things I'm refining this year so that the next time I publish, I'm fucking ready. Like just I've learned and ironed out all of the kinks that held me back this year. So I just feel a lot more prepared for my next body of work.
What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions about your book?
Just about my writing in general. I do write a lot of erotica. Just me going through the process of becoming sensually liberated and wanting to show black bodies in a positive light. So sometimes I feel like when readers read my work, they think sex is all I have to offer them, and it's really stifling. It makes me feel like Kanye. You know, when Kanye, when he was trying to branch off into the fashion industry, and niggas was just giving him a hard ass time.
He was like, nigga, do you see this coat?
Like, do you see this coat? I feel like Kanye, like, don't marginalize my work. And I feel like the people who really fuck with my writing, they gonna keep fucking with me. It doesn't matter what I'm writing about. Like, what I have planned for my next manuscript, sex is not even gonna be a part of it.
I'm sure that's probably annoying.
It is.
Like, I'm sure you got people sliding your DMs like, but then they hit you with the yo queen.
Oh, they try it. They see this head wrap. They think they could do that. They try it, but I'm not interested.
Yo queen, you know, your body, you should not be with one man. Like, how you gonna try to pump?
I hate it.
Queen with polygamy all at
that
one
super hotepi shit. I'm holistic, but that super duper hotepi shit, I'm not with it.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Ain't with the hotepi shit.
Yeah, I'm not. So that's really hard. I think it's something like women in general battle with. It's really easy for women to just get tossed in like sex industry or you know what I mean? Like for example, like I really love nude art. I really, really love nude art. Not all nude art moves me, but I really love nude art. And I think about the models who do that type of work.
That's a
really have good work.
Yeah.
They might just automatically get tossed in like, oh, the bitch naked. So she's just a sex worker. You know what I mean? It's just really hard to for a woman to display being sensual and not being automatically casted off as if you're not educated or as if you're not you don't have any value.
Right.
More than that. So that's probably like the toughest thing, because I write that, niggas gonna try me. That's
because I was also gonna ask, like, we all know there's a double standard about being naked on the internet, but how do you feel about holding that double standard, or like knowing that it's there, and trying to like explain that to people, like there's a double standard about just being naked, period, but especially for women on the internet.
Like, initially, I just do me. Like, I'm just gonna express my art however it is that I want to. And what happens is there's this like thing where most of us associate sexuality or sensuality, like equating that to being promiscuous. And that's not my life. So it's okay if someone has that perception of me. Maybe my job is to change their perception about it, because I'm gonna be authentic to being myself. So if someone tries me on that shit, it's not gonna work out for them when they do. So they gonna figure that shit out really. They're just gonna figure it out really quick. And I promote that. Like, for me, body positivity isn't just like we get brainwashed into this standard of beauty that doesn't really exist. And I feel like part of what I want to do is to make women feel comfortable, like whether you're a mother, because I know a lot of times mothers have this thing where they feel like, I'm a mom now, I can't be sexy. You know what I mean? And I want people to feel like, no, bitch, this is when you're when you're the most sexy to me. You're glowing. I'm trying to tell you. You see them titties. I'm trying to tell you, and that's the type of thing I talk about, like, and that's why I try to do with my page. I try to show different body types. I try to show like mother, non-mother.
And I think you do a really good job at it. I think when you, just when you go to your page, it's very diverse in a way, especially when you read the poems that you have, with them. It's very moving, honestly, to see that being shed onto people. I don't think it's talked about, but I think to constantly kind of reinforce it is very important. And it's good to see like women do that, especially because you get a lot of. Honestly, I've seen a lot of men do that. Just on my feed about like love your body, because I love it, and it's good to see a woman say that, and it's not like you don't have to be this size. It's like, no, you can be you, and that's whatever you are, be you and embrace it. And I like that about you, period. But then about your page, it really showcases that, and it's not all erotica. And I like that. Not.
And I had to, like I said, on some Kanye shit. Like I have other shit for you. Like this is just one facet of what I do, and this was just a phase that I was at that time. So that's what I was sharing. So now I'm just sharing wherever the fuck I'm at, like wherever I am. That's what I'm gonna give and share with people.
Who are some of your Sorry, there's something. And it's like bothering the shit out of me. Who are some of the artists or authors that inspire you?
So I cannot even pronounce her name.
Give me three. Give me top three.
My favorite author right now, she did the TED Talk. She did that sample for Beyonce about feminism. She did her first name starts with a C. I know a lot of her books. I own a lot of her books. She wrote Purple Hibiscus, Half Yellow Sun, Americana. She's my favorite author right now. She's just very powerful and owns her African heritage. Like she's just about her shit, and I really appreciate her being authentic to whatever message she's trying to relay. And I know a lot of like feminism, that's a strong ass word. I don't label myself, so sometimes people may view myself that way, and that's okay. I just like how strong she is. There's another writer, I read a lot of work by independently published writers because that's what I do, and I like to support, like I'm about this shit. Like I'm gonna support other people as well. Nuru is another one on Instagram. She wrote a book called Fly Blackbird. And it's really good. It's a collection of poetry and prose as well. So she inspired me a lot, and we actually have a lot in common, so it's really dope to just connect with people in that way. I also would shout out the author LT, like I said, who's a mentor to me. She writes all kinds of shit, like little novelettes, full novels, just all kinds of shit, and just reading her work, I'm learning. She wrote this short about unicorns. Like she just was describing women as unicorns, just the eclectic women who are comfortable with them. Like just a lot of things she talked about, I felt like that's just where I was in my life. So I really appreciate her. She's been a really great influence as well.
Neat. Are those also a part of your top 3 favorite books of all time, or no?
Ooh, I would say almost anything by I can't pronounce her name. I got you. Anything by her, like she's definitely my favorite author, hands down right now. Like I had a hard time like picking a person, she's my favorite. Now, favorite books in general, I'd have to open it up a little bit. She would be my favorite author. One of my favorite books is still The Alchemist. I feel like that I read that book at just like the perfect time. I love that book. I really like this book called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill.
I think you were telling me about that. I'm on like book probation, so I can't order it right now.
Yes, I actually need to order some shit before I put myself on probation. And my other favorite book would be The Power of Now by Eric Toyle. I really appreciate that book. It's just about like, even though you can plan ahead and reflect on the past, it's just like reflect on your past. It's good to just be in the present moment, and everything you experience is in the moment. So I'm a heavy thinker. I'm always planning and moving, and that book reminds me to just like center myself and to just appreciate just the moment, like my current, like I appreciate this moment with you right now, like just living right now in this moment. So that would definitely be top 3.
Of course, you're an author, so I know you're an avid reader. And you like to be on the up and up of things, which I appreciate. So you do have a book signing coming up.
I do. I'm excited.
This is our first book signing. I'm super excited.
It's gonna be dope.
It's gonna be super dope. It's gonna be at Cupcakery. On February 10th from 6:30 to 9. So if you guys haven't already RSVP'd and you want to learn more and you have questions that I haven't asked already about Miss Seshata Rose, you can go ahead and go ahead and click on that Eventbrite. It's on Eventbrite, right?
Hit that link.
Hit that link in bio, son. Check me out.
Check me out.
But so are you? Oh, I know you're excited about it. But what are you like? This is your very first book signing. So are you like nervous? Are you anxious? Are you kind of just like
I'm anxious,
embracing it all?
I'm a little anxious. I'm a little nervous. It's just really interesting to see people like, oh shit, y'all fuck with me. Like, I mean, thank you. Like, I feel really humbled and really honored by that. Like, anyone who takes the time out of their lives to read my work, I appreciate it. Like, I genuinely appreciate it. I'm gonna do some live pieces from the book. So I love spoken word. I love being on stage doing that. So it's cool to do it. I never performed pieces from my book. So this is going to be the space where I actually get to do that. We'll get to dive in a little more about each chapter and what influenced me in writing those parts for those chapters. So I'm really ready to get people who, both people who already have read my work and just want to like see me do the shit live, just bringing to them what they want to see, and people who've never read it and this is their first experience with me. I just look forward to sharing that experience with people.
Speaking of which, I have a quote from that book. I'm gonna find it because it's in my phone. I'm gonna find it, and when I do, I'm gonna ask you the question about it. It's just, I'm gonna do that. I was like, yo, this quote right here.
Let's do it. I'm ready. All right, cool.
So one of my favorite quotes from the book. I'm so bad at this. Of the chapter that it's in, but one of my favorite quotes is when you said, he loved her not when she loved herself, he valued her when she not know self-worth, and he nourished her soul back to health. When I read that, I was like, oh shit. Who is she talking to? Why is she talking to me and why? But I love that quote. I think for me it really hit a nerve. That it's one of those things where I guess kind of almost like unconditional love or something in that realm where someone sees so much more in you than you see yourself, and sometimes it does take a lot of that love in order for them to pull it out of you and for you to get better. But so I don't know if this is coming from one of those shitty parts in the storyline or one of those cosmic connections in the present, but where did that even like come for you to put that? Just, and it's very simple. It's like 4 or 5 lines, and it's just, it says everything it needs to say in those
very
lines.
Succinct. Like, this is where we are. For me, there's someone who's really, really important to me that told me, because I believe that words are magic, and what you say can manifest. And I also think that what you say, you affirm. So I know there was a really dark phase in my life where I would say things like I'm broken and I have all this hurt in me, and I had to shift away from that. So I shifted away from that towards healing, like healing myself. I had someone tell me that you don't have to heal by yourself, and this was just that one line was just like a big deal to me because I felt like I'm not broken. I don't need no nigga to fit you. I don't need no man. I don't want no man. I just was was really in my heightened state of woman empowerment, which was great. But at the same token, it's just like, you don't have to do everything by yourself. So that's where
it's important.
Yeah, that mix is important. I do feel like there's parts of myself that needed to be healed before I seek or sought after a partner.
Right.
But I did have that was just this moment of like, I don't have to heal just by myself.
Right.
And even though I can love myself first, it's okay to accept love from somebody else.
Right.
And that's where that was coming from. Like, there's a final part of my healing that is stagnated because I can only do but so much by myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm not the only person. I'm not supposed to figure this all out by myself. There's
Right.
things to learn from other people and connecting with other people. So
Right.
that's where that came from. Yeah.
Yeah, when I read that, I almost lost my damn mind. I think I cried a little bit because I was in this space. I was like,
I don't want you to cry.
why I can't accept this man loving me, and I don't know what to do. I really felt it. I felt like, you know, sometimes you aren't supposed to go through those things alone.
You're not.
And those are the people in those moments, even if they're not there forever. Like in that moment, it's like, I thank you because I did need to go through that alone. You know, I ain't telling what would have happened.
Okay.
But yeah, when I read that shit, I was like, bro, she get on my nerves with this shit. And we do this thing where, I don't know, it's like we're always in sync with something. It'd be like the bullshit, right? It's like we either like really, really low or really, really high. And we'll see a quote and then we'll like DM each other. And we'll be like, hey, don't start this shit today. It's too early.
Start that
I don't need this negativity in my life right now. And that's when I was like, you play entirely too much because I cannot deal with that. Like, it took me a minute to even just to go through the book because there were parts of it that, you know, like you said, it helped you heal, but there were parts of it that maybe I just wasn't ready to heal at that moment. And it took me a second. I was like, I ain't gonna read that shit yet. I was like, I'm gonna read the sex part. Cause that love shit I ain't on. So I was like, I'm gonna read the sex part.
Yeah, I've had someone tell me that. I've had someone tell me like, hey, your book is dope, but where I am right now is not the right time for me to read this. And I accept that as well.
Yeah, because you don't want to, because it's not like it's bad. It's just you're not in a space to accept it.
Yeah.
And that was very honest of them to say that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's like, no, it's cool. Like, this is not where you are. But what's the craziest part to me is like someone told me like, I'm not in a relationship. I shouldn't read this book. I'm like, it's crazy. I wrote this entire book when I was by myself.
Yeah.
You know, I wrote this by myself in my darkest hour. Yeah. And I was still able to draw and pull from what love meant to me. So
that's hard. I
needed that. I needed to lock that in. So I still appreciate. And in some regards, that was healing for me to do that. Like, just knowing like, just because I don't have someone to share that love with doesn't mean that love isn't in me. Or just because something didn't work out doesn't mean that love isn't for me. Right. And I still had to do that. So I appreciate that for what it is. And I was just surprised because, I mean, you would think like a woman going through a breakup, or at that time for me, I was going through a separation leading to a divorce. So you would think I'd be like, fuck niggas. Yeah.
I was waiting for the niggas ain't shit. Niggas ain't something I did. Yeah. Like, I was waiting on that poem. Like, I wanted to see a picture like, boom. But actually, I think with that, it really showed the resilience in you. It really showed your strength. It really showed you adapted to not having low moments, but having them and embracing them, and then picking yourself like, hey, I can't be this low. I don't want to be right here. That's hard for some people. Yeah. I mean, speaking personally for me in particular, it's hard like to really pick your ass up. Your whole grown ass self.
Ass off the floor.
Ass off the floor, man.
Ass off the floor.
Your ass. It should not be on the floor.
Right.
And be like, I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah. And to keep, it's a continuous thing.
Definitely continuous.
That's reading that, you can see that. And then, I mean, just with you being here now, like, you can see that resilience in that. So was that one of the, like, going through that separation and divorce, was that one of the major influences for you to be like, nah, this
is what I'm doing? Yeah. I feel like it's okay to be in a dark space. Like, I feel like there's no reason to pretend you're happy right now and you're not. Right. Or to, you know what I'm saying? Like, engage with people when you want to be by yourself. I don't think that's a problem. I think it's a problem if you live there. That is not where you reside. Like, that sad space, that's not where you live at. Right. This is a temporary situation. And once I started treating it like it was temporary, I was still able to tap in to those things. And I also believe like the more you, again, like the more the way you think, what you say about yourself will manifest itself. So I was just really like, I can't dwell in this. This is not where I'm gonna be my entire life. This is not where I aspire to be. And it's hard when you're going through like a heartbreak to think about love. It's like, no, I want nothing to do with this right now. I want nothing to do with this. But just because I know myself and I know the love that I have to give to someone, that I know that I should be receiving that as well. And so I just was able to just not live in that dark space. Just be able to reflect on that and just be like, okay, cool, this is a shitty moment, but this isn't me. This is not where I'm always going to be. So let's accept that, own that, and move on to something else. Yeah. So it was cool to do that.
That's good.
And freeing.
I bet that was mentally like a very big burden off of your shoulders and your mind, and you're in a much better space. You're doing big shit, man. You're doing big shit. So you gotta be in a good space to come get these blessings. You gotta be in a good space for
I do not turn down blessings.
I don't turn down blessings.
No blessings ever.
Money.
In all forms.
In all forms. Money,
in all
shows,
forms.
book signings, shots.
I'm telling you. Is it dark? Brown all around.
I don't drink it if it don't look like my skin.
I'm trying to tell you. Brown holds it down.
Brown holds it down, okay? With the exception of an occasional tequila just a little bit every now and again. But if it ain't brown, it don't go down.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, that's a blessing. And I'm glad you're in a good space. You can feel it and you can see it in your posts and your writings, and I'm just super excited for what 2018 has in store for you.
Like, I got more for y'all.
What you got going on? What are some of the things that you want to accomplish this year? You know, what do you hope to do?
I'm definitely gonna write that short that I talked about, just to help people with their eating transition. I already been brewing about my next book and what it's gonna be about. I already know what I want. I've already started writing. I'm doing the same. I'm approaching it the same way as this book as far as writing. I don't want to stifle myself. I know what my chapters are going to be about, but I'm just writing. Whatever comes to me, I'm writing, and then I will sort them, accordingly. One thing I will say, even though I've gone through this process, I think it gave people the illusion that healing for me was this like glorious, beautiful process. And it wasn't. It was ugly as fuck.
Yeah.
So that's what my next work is going to be about. I need people to know, like, no, this shit was ugly. It's going to be dark. It's going to be a dark ass book. But there's light at the end. I will save you. But I promise there's light at the end of the tunnel. I promise there's light for you at the very end. But it's going to be dark. It's going to be dark. I just want people to know that I'm human. And even all the things that I push, like I push body positivity and all these things. One of the reasons why I go so hard for that shit is because that's something I battle with. It's a way to hold myself accountable and make sure that.
Because there are times when I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, I don't want to wear that. I don't like that shit. Especially when you gain weight and it's hard to get off. You're just like, nah.
I still have issues with it. I'll put on.
That's why I wear black. I wear black or denim. Denim or black. I'm wearing black with a denim something.
I'm telling you.
Or denim with black, like and red lipstick. That's it. That's my go-to attire. I'm trying to get out of it because I just want to embrace myself, and I think that's a good thing that you're pushing that forward.
I have to. Like somebody has to.
Somebody got to do it for the culture.
Do it for the culture. I have to. I do it for the gram, the culture. Like I just have to. And it's cool.
Well, that's good. I like that. So you're gonna be doing your short. I'll be looking. I'm not gonna put that pressure on you for this novel yet, or the screenplay rather. Okay. I know you're trying to get into your Issa Rae.
Yes.
I call her my Issa Nola darling.
She don't give me a
Seshata Rose. Yes. That's who you are.
I love all of those.
I feel like you embrace all of those, and I think with that, but then you maintain yourself. I feel like you encompass all of those women like very well, but you still remain like who you are. And I don't know. I just when I seen Issa Rae, when I seen Insecure, I was like, yo. It's like I see bits of her and me, and I was like, I think about you when I see this. And then when I finally seen Who's Gotta Have It, I was like,
I love that shit too. I love that.
I was like, and then when you was like, did you watch? I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we on. So yeah, you just remind me of like you're just all of that, but then you're still you, and I really like that. Like I feel like those are women that you should admire. And
I do. I love everything about those two bodies of work. I definitely look up to them and just different things that I want to offer and you can be inspired and not like have have to copy. Like I have my own.
No.
Yeah.
And that's what I said you do. I just like putting all those people and then it's like no, but I'm still put my Seshata Rose sprinkle everybody in a big old pot of gumbo.
Yes.
Black magic girl.
Yes, I'm ready.
Oh yeah.
I just definitely have more. Just know I got shit for you.
You gonna get this work.
More. You gonna get this work. I got more shit for you. So I'm really excited. Like, I'm always inspired. So that's great.
Well, I'm excited. I'm really happy for you. I'm excited to see what else this year has in store for you. I know you'll do really, really great. Again, check out. She's gonna be doing her book signing.
Yes, come see me.
Soul touching book signing, and I'm gonna let you give the spill.
Yes, it's at Cupcakery. It's February 10th. It's on a Saturday. Don't worry about it if you have work to do. It's in the evening. It's from 6:30 to 9 p.m. Come see me. Come get your book signed. Or even if you already have a book, you want me to sign it, or just to come in and talk to me. I'll be performing some pieces live from the book. Just fuck with me.
Fuck with me. For better like
right. I wish you could just do that, like job interviews, all that shit. Like fuck with me.
I qualify.
Just fuck with me. I look forward to seeing you guys here. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Love you.
That was such a girl moment. But thank you for coming. I'm super excited. I'm gonna, be looking forward to doing this again soon with new stuff coming up.
Indeed.
But thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the XO Effect. My name is Chiane. I go by the name of Chiane XO. And I was about to say your name.
I tell you, it just rolls off.
It just rolls off the tongue. Again, thank you for coming, Miss Seshata Rose. Check out her book, Soul Touching. You can find it on Amazon. You can also click the link in her bio for all of the details about her book signing and also to purchase your book. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you next week.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the second episode of the XO Effect featuring Miss Seshata Rose. We truly appreciate it. You guys know she's doing her book signing this Saturday at Cupcakery. And for the next 5 people that subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as my email list, I will be giving away 5 free tickets. But you have to subscribe to the channel and to my email list. And that is for the next 5 subscribers. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next XO Effect. Like, subscribe, and share. And I will see you guys soon.